Namaste. My name is JVN Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University, Jaipur. I am teaching you subject Unit Operation in Food Industries for class BSc FST second semester and BTech FPT second semester. Today, this is the first class of this subject and we will discuss all about the fluid flow. So, first of all, what is fluids? So, generally, matter exists in many one of four fundamental states. Okay, though there are many more. Okay, so there are solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Matter is basically of four types, and these are the solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Although materials with intermediate properties exist, and in particular materials that exhibit both solid-like and fluid-like properties, for example, liquid crystals. A fluid is nothing but a liquid or a gas which differs from the solids. Okay, so fluids deform continuously under the action of an applied shear stress. A shear stress is a force that acts on an area tangential to the direction of the force. Okay, so if a shear force is applied to a solid, it may deform a little from its initial position, but it will not continue to do so when the force is removed, and it will recover its initial shape. By contrast, a fluid will continue to deform as long as the shearing action is applied, and when the shear force is removed, it will not bounce back to its original position. Okay, so a viscoelastic material is in between. It will flow to some extent on application of a shear force and will bounce back to some extent, but not completely on a removal of the applied force. Okay, so fluids may be subdivided into the liquid and gases, which differ from each other in several distinctive ways. The molecule in liquid stick closely together such that the liquids have definite volume, sorry, and will not fill a container having a larger volume. The volume occupied by a liquid varies only slightly with the temperature and the pressure, such that liquids are essentially incompressible, and liquids form interfaces with gases, including their own vapors and sometimes other liquids, for example, oil and water mixtures. By the contrast, the molecules of gases will always move apart so as to completely fill an enclosing container. Only then is a gas in equilibrium. Okay, so with respect to their fluid behavior, gases differ from liquids in two significant respects. Firstly, while liquids are essentially incompressible for most practical purposes, gases, by contrast, are easily compressed. Okay, so secondly, liquids have much greater densities than the gases, such that the weight of a liquid plays a major role in their behavior. Okay, so while the effects of weight can usually be ignored when dealing with the gases. Okay, so fluid mechanics is the application of the fundamental principles of mechanics and thermodynamics, such as conservation of mass, conservation of energy, and Newton's law of motion, to the study of liquids and gases in order to explain observed phenomena and to able to predict their behavior. Fluid mechanics subdivided into the fluid statics or hydrostatic and the rest of the fluids at rest, and fluid dynamics, that is the study of fluids in motion. Okay, so the fluid flow emphasizing the issues of fluid behavior under the dynamic conditions, because food engineering is concerned principally with the processes, and processes imply change and inherently dynamic. Okay, so we need to understand both fluid statics or hydrostatics as well. Okay, so for the chemical or the food engineering application, we have a feed which we are subjected to impart into the reactor, and that reactor will make the food, or you can say a machinery will make a food. For example, we are working in a ketchup industry. Okay, so feed is tomato, spices, and steam, etc. Okay, so that steam is basically a fluid. Okay, tomatoes are solid, so they are moving with a different manner, but we are studying about the fluid flow. Okay, that steam or water will move through a pipeline, and that is basically a transportation of the fluid, and that will we were study in the fluid flow. Okay, when the ketchup is prepared, that ketchup is also subjected to transfer from one place to the another place, and when we use the study of fluid flow. Okay, so that is the simple example of the fluid flow which is used in the food industry. The example allows us to identify the relevance of fluid flow to the numerous aspects of the chemical process design. Okay, for that we require pipes. Pipes are basically conveyed the streams between the processes via numerous pipes, which contribute a large fraction of the capital cost of a chemical plant, and so need to be sized appropriately. Okay, next component is the pumps, which make the fluids flow along with the pipes, and they need to resized to deliver the required flow rates, while their power consumption contributes to the operating costs of the plant. Okay, and third component we require is reactor. The nature of the fluid flow patterns determines the way that molecules meet each other and react, and hence the yield throughput, the selectivity of the process. Another component we require is heat exchanger. That is only one shown here in the example, but there are many in typical processes, and the rate of heat transfer and therefore the size and cost of the heat exchanger depends strongly on the fluid flow pattern. Depending upon the fluid flow pattern, we will consider the size and the cost or the operating cost of the heat exchanger. Okay, next is the separator or separation, probably via distillation, in which flow patterns of the liquid and the vapor phases affect mass transfer between them. Okay, next is the fluid flow have an enormously wide range of application outside of the food engineering, including in other engineering disciplines, in particular civil, mechanical, chemical engineering, etc., in meteorology and oceanology, weather patterns and ocean currents, and even in medicine. Okay, for example, blood flow. Mastery of fluid flow can open a wide range of employment and research opportunities, both within the chemical industries and beyond that. Okay. Fluid flow is an example of transport process in which the rate of transport of matter or energy depends on physical factors affecting the transfer, such as physical properties of the material under the investigation and the geometry of the system. Okay, so some of the fundamental ideas need for the fluid flow are the conservation laws, of which the three most important ones are conservation of mass, conservation of energy, and conservation of linear momentum. These three conservation laws will form the basis for developing our fundamental understanding of fluid flow, as later on we will employ these fundamental ideas in order to derive three major mathematical descriptions of the fluid flow: the continuity equation, the Bernoulli's equation, and the momentum equation. Okay, so we will derive these firstly for the simplified case of ideal fluid, and then extend the equations to allow us to do useful calculations involving the real fluids. Okay, so we will illustrate the use of fluid flow in the context of food engineering using the examples relating to the flow in pipes and the vessels. Before we move to flowing fluids, we need to understand the static behavior of the fluids, which is the study of hydrostatic. And before we begin that, now the types of fluid flow. Okay, so there are 6 types of fluid flow. Number one is steady and unsteady flow, laminar and turbulence flow, 1, 2, and 3D flow, and uniform and non-uniform flow, rotational and irrotational flow, and compressible and incompressible flow. Okay, so first we will discuss about the steady and unsteady flow. Okay, so it is a steady flow is a flow in which conditions of the flows remains constant with respect to the time at a particular section, but the conditions may different at different sections. Okay, so flow conditions, velocity, pressure, density, and a cross-sectional area, etc., are remains constant. Okay, for example, a constant discharge through a pipe, and that there is dv by dt is equal to 0 and v is constant here. For unsteady flow, it is a flow in which conditions of flow changes with respect to time at a particular section. For example, a variable discharge through a pipe. Here, dv by dt is not equivalent to 0. Next type is uniform and non-uniform flow. In uniform flow, as a name indicate, it is a flow in which conditions of flow remains constant from section to section. For example, constant discharge through a constant diameter pipe. Okay, so dv by dx is equal to 0. Okay, distance wise, the volume is constant. Okay, for non-uniform flow, it is a flow in which conditions of flow does not remain constant from section to section. For example, constant discharge through variable diameter pipe. Okay, so dv by dx is not equivalent to 0 and v is variable here. Okay, next type of flow is laminar and turbulent flow. Okay, so laminar flow is in which the fluid particles move along with the well-defined paths or a streamline, and the turbulent flow is the fluid moves in a very irregular pathway or a zigzag manner, or a velocity at point it will fluctuate. So in this figure you can see that the fluid is moving in a straight direction or a same direction, that is a streamline. Okay, or you can say it is the laminar flow. But in the turbulent flow, the fluid is moving in a zigzag portion. Okay, so that zigzag manner. So this is the turbulent flow. Next is the compressible and incompressible fluids. So in compressible fluids, in which the density of the fluid change from point to point, and the density is not constant for the liquid. And incompressible flows are the density is constant for the fluid. Okay, so in this picture you can easily understand that in compressible fluid, when pressure P1 act on the volume V1, the volume will reduces and it will become it will in less in size. Okay, for incompressible fluid, when we apply pressure P1, the volume remains constant, and for pressure P2 the volume remains constant. Next type is rotational and irrotational flows. Rotational flows are in which the fluid particles, while flowing along streamlines, also rotate about their own axis. Okay, and for irrotational flow, in which the fluid particles, while flowing along streamlines, do not rotate along its own axis. Okay, so last type of fluid flow is 1, 2, and 3-dimensional flows, in which one-dimensional flow is in which the flow parameter such as velocity is a function of the time and one space coordinate only. That means the x-axis coordinate only is there. Okay. Next is the 2-dimensional flow, in which the velocity is a function of time and two rectangular spaces coordinate. That means the flow is in x and y direction. Okay, and for 3-dimensional flow, in which the velocity is the function of time and three mutually perpendicular directions may flow ga. Okay, so that means there is x-axis and flow is along the x, y, and z axis. Okay, so from this session, question may be asked like explain the fluid flow and explain the brief introduction of fluid flow, and what is the importance and what is the need to study the fluid flow, explain the different types of fluid flow. Likewise, questions will be asked in your final exams and you have to answer them accordingly. Thank you so much for watching this video.